on the 56-yard field goal with no time to go. Dak said sometimes you got to win with O, sometimes D.
I mean, as I said last week, right, we're going to have to go out there and have to score a bunch to win some games, and then there's going to be some games like this one. And I think it showed tonight. Defense did a great job. Turnovers, big turnover down there in the red zone when it was needed. And then we were able to come back out, go get 3. It's just important to play off of one another. When one team makes a big play, the other unit has to come on there and do a good job of picking up their back and picking up and taking advantage of them making that big play, right? And so that's what complementary football is about. That's how you win games. That's how you become a championship team and be the team that we want to be.
Isn't the only game decided on a kick in the last 15 minutes. More on that in a second. But first, a few minutes with Mike McCarthy.
Well, I think the biggest thing is, especially early in the year, I mean, every season's different, every team's different, and this team just has incredible work ethic and fight. And our season started last week, so we established play style, and it just felt that this week 2 opportunity was so unique. You're playing an uncommon opponent. Most of these players had not competed against each other. Obviously, teams don't compete against each other, so there's a lot that went into that. Obviously, Chargers coming off an excellent win last week at Washington. So, to come in here and win this game was important on a number of fronts for us. We needed it, and we needed the confidence that goes with this win. So, winning in this league so hard. So I'm just proud of the guys because they're doing everything the right way. So I mean, we still have a lot of work to do. We're young in spots in the game. It was great to get our young guys in there, but I just love the communication and the bounce back. These football games always usually come down to the last couple series, and this one here came right down to the last play. So excellent win for us. It'll be a great plane ride home. I really like their football team, just competing against them, and the way they play, the talent, and so this is definitely one that we could build off of.
The strangest game-winning drive you've ever been around?
All right, we're going to talk about the offense in just a second because when we talk about the Cowboys, that's where we usually go. But, Damien, I know you want to talk defense. And Micah Parsons, A, how difficult is it to move over to that defensive end position? And, B, how did he do in your mind?
Well, listen, Michael Parsons is a special linebacker coming out of Penn State. And most of the time he rushed from off the ball, linebacker spot. So for him to move to defensive end like this, that's almost unprecedented. You don't see off-the-ball linebackers playing at the defensive end spot. And the one thing you saw about Michael Parsons, he has unbelievable bursts up the field and around the corner. And he was giving the Los Angeles Chargers right tackle all types of fits and problems. And he kept, flip-flopping from one end to the other end. But you could just see the speed and burst all day. He was creating all types of pressure on Justin Herbert throughout the game.
And, Tim, from the second that Zeke signed that big contract with the Cowboys, people were saying it was a mistake before the ink dried. You can't give that money to a running back. What did you see out of the Cowboys' run game today that was pivotal in this win?
Well, I think the key is we just look at the collective group. So both Zeke and Pollard, basically you're looking at, 29 rush attempts for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns. So when that is the case, when it's not just one back, it means the guys up front are moving people all around, which was the case. I mean, there was plenty of times where guys were getting into the second level. As you see Zeke here, being able to finish without any contact until you get to the linebacker level. Then it's Pollard out in the open field, untouched. There were so many opportunities where these guys had, clear running lanes, big lanes to run through. And again, getting into the secondary without being touched. So, look, regardless of who's got the big contract or whether they should or shouldn't have signed Zeke to that big contract, the reality is if the guys up front are doing it, there are plenty of good backs to get it done. And I think it's just a better way for Dallas to operate offensively. When they run the football like that, then Dak is at his best because he's really an efficient quarterback. I don't think he's necessarily the guy you want to have, near 40 attempts every single week. I think he's best when he can be efficient, which he was today. At one point I looked up, I think he was 20 of 24, and he was completely efficient. And I think a lot of that has to do with how they ran the football.
Guys, I want to get back to Micah Parsons just for a second. Go ahead, David.
Guys, I'm not used to Tim giving this much love to the offensive line. Can I just take this in for a second? I just want to take this in for Tim giving all this love.
Hey, take it in, Big Wood. I said I am happy to give the love to that offensive line because they were outstanding. Look, if you allow a play caller to call nearly 30 runs in a football game, that tells you that the guys up front are doing their job.
All right, let's give some love again to Micah Parsons because Damien was talking about it, how special that performance was. Here he is with Ed Warder talking about his game.
So the Cowboys, for the second week in a row, go on the road, play a game that comes down to the wire. This time they have the ball last and win on the final play, Greg Zuerlein's game-winning field goal. Micah, how important a victory do you think it is given the circumstances under which it was achieved?
We went through early adversity coming out, going back and forth, and last week we lost a nail biter, so this week we emphasized on closing the game, and this time we saved them from scoring a touchdown, let our offense do the rest, and it was a great win.
It was a remarkable defensive performance, especially considering without both your starting defensive ends, DeMarcus Lawrence and Randy Gregory, and you, in your second game in the NFL, are asked to solve the problem by playing a lot at defensive end. How willing were you to do that, and how do you think you performed in that role?
Really, as soon as DQ and them came up to me and said, this is where we need you at, I'm more than willing to help this team. I know